Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Make It Kustom. Today we are going to be building the bumper seats again, but we are going to show you riveting. We're going to show you guys a couple of different options for the side. We got some feedback in the comments about the contrast and how to kind of make it cooler. So we're going to try a bit of that. We're going to cut some more stuff. And like I said in the last video, we're going to go to 14 gauge for the back and the bottom of this seat. Just kind of beef it up a little bit, make it a little bit stronger. And I don't know, should we make the seat bigger?
I think a bit different shape, but like,
different shape?
Yeah, a bit taller in the back, like an inch or two taller in the back.
Okay, so according to Elio, we're gonna completely build brand new seats, totally different in this video right now. So don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications, and let's do it. All right, after much discussorizing, we have discussorized that this seat is going to change with, this is Elio's idea and I think it's brilliant, is add some shape to the top of this. That's gonna kind of raise the back up a little bit. And we're gonna make this out of 14 gauge. And then we're also gonna make new sides with, we picked up some brass. Brass is kind of like my favorite metal because it's so pretty. So what we're gonna do is this brushed piece that's in behind, we're gonna cut those out of brass. And then we're gonna bead roll them out this way and then dimple die them in. And we both think it's gonna look good. I was gonna say something better than good. But,
Fancy.
But whatever, Elio, it's just good. It's just good enough. 100% good enough. And then also make a little trim for the seat belt. Did I do that on these? No, I didn't.
You kind of did it in a different way.
See, these ones, like, they have brass as that doubler piece, and this was just a little bit thicker. So I think that these new panels actually look better than these ones, and having a little bit of an arc on the back would be super cool.
Yeah, have brass here, here, here. It'll give it even, I don't know what you want to call it.
Contrastoriety.
Continuity.
Okay, let's get started. We're gonna change that drawing and start cutting out those pieces right now. brass, we don't know how to do brass, so we're just gonna try it. Try different settings. Hopefully it works. This stuff is not cheap. It's got plastic both sides. We just leave it on. And then it doesn't have to. Should we try it? We'll just try it. Try doing it the same as steel. Let's see. Check it out! All our scribes are in here, and in fact, the stuff turned out a little bit better than before because Elio peeled the plastic off the backside. It was kind of contaminating it, adding more dross. Now this is the backside of brass after dialing it in. Pretty dang good, I would say. So yeah, very happy with it. There's a little bit of cleanup to do, but not really much different than the aluminum, hey?
No, I'd say it's very similar.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna clean all these pieces up, all of them. We're gonna start assembling everything into a seat, and well, we're not gonna assemble it till we bead roll it. We're gonna clean it all, and then we're gonna bead roll it all.
Correct.
Correct. Ooh, and shout out Fast Cut. This machine's amazing. The amount of warp that we're seeing on such thin material. This is 023 brass. 032. 032. Keep in mind that when we were doing the aluminum, it was 050. So this is like just a little bigger than half the thickness of that aluminum. So yeah, I think it's gonna look really cool. So we're gonna bead roll this scribe line out so that it comes through the aluminum a little bit, and then we're gonna still dimple die these holes in, and I think that it's gonna look really neat. And then also, like, so you're just gonna see that, you're not gonna see this part of the brass, that'll be hidden, and then added contrast, this will go again on the outside of the aluminum, so you're gonna see this, this, and this. And it's gonna be super cool. And we did not quite have enough brass to do 2 inserts. We cut enough stuff to make 2 seats, but didn't have enough to do a second insert in brass, so I'll have to pick some more up from the metal store, but for now we're just gonna build 1 seat, fully assembled, bead rolled, beautiful. It's gonna be sweet. So Elio's just starting to punch a few so that we can just kind of line the two pieces up. And then we're gonna see if we can't punch through both layers at the same time is what we're hoping. I'm not 100% if that's gonna work, but we'll give it a shot. I'm just deburring the brass pieces at the moment. They actually deburr quite easily. Like, burr's gone. The only thing that's a little bit tough are these circles because they've got kind of like their start area has a little bit of dross on it. Dross is just a fancy way of saying slag for plasma cutters. So I've got this, this is just a, like a chamfer tool, and it's big enough that I can get all these holes just kind of by hand. This seems to be working, so I'm deburring them this way, because you are gonna see the inside of this piece. I want it to be nice, even though it's the bottom side. So that's what we're gonna do. Hopefully that tool will allow us to punch both at one time. It's gonna save so much time. Okay, we're gonna find out if this thing can punch both layers at once. It would be pretty baller if it did, wouldn't it? It's like cake. It's like eating cake. It's a very easy thing to do.
Cakewalk.
Look at that.
Cool.
Well, that's so much easier than drilling anything. Look. Slick, Rick.
Nice.
So these are ready to bead roll. We gotta clean this one up yet. That one's clean, that one's clean. So we just gotta clean that, and then we're done. I'll maybe clean that one. I'll work on these holes with the.
Okay.
This one. Okay, ready to start bead rolling. This is 032 brass. I'm going to step this edge all the way around, and then we are going to dimple these down. That's it for these pieces. Then we are gonna switch to the rubber lower wheel, and actually we should do that first so we don't have to do too many changes. Let's do that first. Rubber lower wheel first. We're gonna do the diamond pattern first. That's what we're gonna do. Where is the... We got the rubber. So I wait for touchdown, and I go 1, 2, and feed it through. Whenever I'm doing diamonds like this also, I start with the piece all the way in so that each line that I do, as it's kind of curving this piece up, which we're gonna correct later, but that way this is not happening in the machine. Like if I was starting it here, it'd be going in, and jamming up in here. So it's important to start all the way in so that your lines gradually come out of the machine to keep from scratching it all up, you know? So we've got touchdown. 1, 2. This is the exact same brass that's in my hot rod for the interior, so I know that this will actually polish up nice. Even though it has a grain to it, it's really easy to polish, like even just by hand. Like you just clean it a bunch of times using a little bit of auto sol is a type of metal polish that I like. I'm sure there's all kinds of really good ones, but 1, 2. You know, for the most part, this bead roller it just wants to drive straight. Like I don't really have to put too much driver input into it, which is nice because I feel like the more you try and steer it, the more you might mess it up. 1, 2. Remembered to protect a little bit. Now, onto the leg press. This is always gonna fight you. There's no way about it. Like, bead rolling does warp things. So, your leg's what you need. Simple tools. Pop everything out. And then once you kind of get it flat, and then we step this edge, it kind of helps lock it in as well. Helps keep it flat. Yep. Okay, Elio's gotta go, so I'm gonna finish this up, but before he goes, we must see what it looks like with the dimple dies in it, so let's do one. What's that one, the big one?
The big one.
Big one, okay. Also 3 sizes here. Bring the old persuader to persuade them.
Good old breaker.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe come to this side, or yeah, you come to this side. Fit in there, does it? With persuasion. Didn't really get a good right there. There, that's where the money's at. Dang, son! Dang! Oh, it's good. I can already tell it's gonna be sweet. So sweet. Get in there. That's pretty good. Tappa, tappa, tappa.
I never thought to use a hammer.
It's amazing what just a giant chunk of steel can do for you. Yeah, one more. For good luck. I mean,
That looks really good.
it looks pretty good. I don't know. Silver and gold, right? It's like precious metals. It makes me think of like Rolexes and stuff.
It's a cat. There's the 2 eyes.
Is it a cat?
I don't know.
That's the Egyptian.
There's the
Egyptian.
Egyptian.
That's the Egyptian cat. All right, let me just give you a little explanation on the bead roller just in case it's not evident. These wheels, now don't pay attention to the kind of like the steps in here. All that's happening is that I'm pressing down on this edge of the upper, right there. Hopefully that's in focus, right there. And then this inside edge of this lower, those are the only 2 things that are actually touching the material as it's going through. So when you move this out or in, that just changes the width of the step that you're putting into it. So you see those dies that actually are kind of flat and they step up and then they're flat again. I don't particularly love those dies for the reason being that they don't need to be flat there. So there's a chance that the edge of the flat, I'm just gonna show you the dies. These are dies that come with every bead roller. They're modifiable, they work and everything, but where are they? Where's a matched pair? These aren't matched, but they're close. So this will also put a step in a piece of metal, right? Because they're like that. But if you do anything tricky where your flange wants to pull up or pull down, it may or may not make a mark on this edge, which you may or may not want. Well, you probably don't want. So this is not my favorite way to step material with these dies. That's why I don't use these anymore. I don't have a reason to use these. In fact, I keep them around because I sometimes make custom die sets out of those because they're nice and bulky and you can kind of carve whatever profile you want into them. So as far as stepping an edge with wheels, this is my preferred method. I did add this little taper onto this edge. That was for a totally different deal, so don't worry about that. This is just this corner versus this corner. That's the only thing touching the metal when we're stepping it. And that's obviously what I did here. So that's what I'm gonna do on this next one. I love the way this turned out. I mean, I think it looks really cool having that step in there. And then, you know, having it stepped out into the aluminum, then dimpled in. Like, come on. That is cool. And then this is also cool. You know, stepping out of the back. We've got the continuity between the two. Like, we're stepping, we got holes, you know. We're doing stuff. I'm not sold on these yet. We kind of did this as another layer. So it'd be like kind of 3 layers thick there. And keep in mind, we're gonna be riveting this all. I feel like the continuity isn't there because this rivet is slightly like yellow tinged going onto the aluminum. But then this rivet would be going onto brass here. So, and I don't particularly like the shape. So I think these are gonna go bye-bye. And we're just gonna roll with this. If you guys have a different opinion, let me know. I do enjoy reading the comments on this. There's so many great, like so much great feedback from all you guys. You're like the perfect panel of judges to, you know, find out whether or not I'm on the right track. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Also, big shout out to my homie Christian Sosa. We just did the class in Vegas. Christian is working on the YouTube channel and I'm really encouraging him to try and like get his stuff out there because it's just mind-blowing the way his mind works and the way he looks at metal, the way he talks to metal. It's definitely worth checking out. He's kind of testing the waters as to different kinds of content at the moment, as to what to do. We talked a little bit about it. We kind of talk about it every time I go down there. Is like how to present his YouTube channel, and I just said, man, just do what you love, and people, you know, will probably love it also, because that's how we grow, right? Like you're passionate about something, and you do that. So. Anyway, I want you guys to check out his YouTube channel, Sosa Metalworks. I'm gonna link it in the description. I'm gonna put it all over the place. Just go there, subscribe. I know he's not putting out tons of videos right now, but be on the watch because like the content's gonna be crazy. And if you check out the stuff that's already on there, like you'll see why. Stuff's just amazing. And he has a lot of techniques that are very like simple. You know, the guy's traveled the world, third world countries, studied metal shaping in every kind of way, and seeing how people do it with less tools, like that's what I'm about too, and that's kind of where I got it all from. You know, Christian's a bit of a mentor to me as the way he thinks and he works. So definitely check out the YouTube channel. Do me a favor and him a favor by going and subscribing, and let's encourage him to get his content out there because I know it's going to be great. So let's get back to this. I'm going to go ahead and bead roll this brass. And I think that I'm probably gonna try and give it just a quick hand polish before I rivet them in there because it'll be really nice. So we're gonna bead roll this, we're gonna dimple this, get that done so that both sides are done. We're gonna kind of start assembling and riveting this right now. Touchdown. 1, 2. This stuff's, you know, you can't just roll it through like this, right? You have to add a little bit of pressure. See how it's just kind of bending it like this? So bead rolling gets a little finicky. You can't just, it's not just a magic machine that does it all, you know? You kind of gotta, there's some driver input, we'll put it that way. Right now I kind of want my machine to be as slow as possible because I gotta make a really sharp corner. I'm gonna tone it down. Sometimes if I'm really clicking it around, I'll literally click my foot to try and just slowly yeah, that works. Okay, now that I'm around the corner, I'm gonna give myself a little more juice. Not too much juice though. I want to get a tummy ache. So I'm holding pressure down so that we have a nice even step in it. A little crazy here. I know I went a little bit off, but that's kind of the beauty about this popping through, is like you're not going to see that little bit that I went off. You're just going to see this line, which ended up being pretty smooth. I just kind of readjusted, and you know, maybe I'm a little rusty. Haven't used the bead roller in a while, but pretty good step out of this brass. You know, it's warping a little bit, you know, but barely. So I think there's just a non-issue here. This is 032 brass. So it bead rolls really nicely. You know what's funny is I don't see a lot of people using brass. I see a lot of copper. I don't see a lot of people using brass. I know it's expensive, but like copper's crazy expensive too. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't give all my secrets away. It's not really a secret. Brass is cool. I think that the dies are just a little bit too big for interfering with our bead rolling, but I think we just squeaked by. Like it still looks really good. So it did deform a tiny bit, but you're not gonna see it, and if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't notice. Well, I kind of tacked it together with the aircraft rivets. It seems to be working pretty good. I was just sort of testing it out. We're gonna go over the aircraft riveting thing. We'll do it in real time and kind of show you behind and in front so you know what it looks like to be bucked and how much to squish it. I don't have anything special here. I know there's specially rated air hammers for doing this type of riveting. Like I think there's like 1X, 2X, 3X, 4X, so on. Those are for different sizes of rivets, or I guess different power needed for the rivets. There's all different hardnesses of rivets. These particular rivets that I've got, I think are pretty hard. They're whatever alloy of aluminum that is like got real strength. They're not really soft like the ones I've used in the past. They're pretty soft and they're not hallmarked or anything, but these ones, because I got them from that like turbo lift aerospace, each one of these rivets is like, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it literally has like a perfect little hallmark on it. It's probably like the hallmark says that it's legit, I guess. So anyway, the rivets are working fine. If you're a little bit off one way or another, like you really got to watch, because I bit in a few times. Like I haven't riveted in a while, and you can see here that I sort of bit into the edge a little bit. So you gotta make sure that you're square on the rivet head. It's really tempting to like watch the bucking bar on the backside, which I always do, to see how much it squishes, but I think it's better to just get used to dialing in the air pressure so that you can go full throttle for like 1 second, 2 seconds, or something like that. Then you know that the bucking bar doesn't need to be watched, and you can watch you know, how square you are on the rivet head as to not bite in. That's all I can really say about that. So the other thing that I noticed, Elio was having trouble with the, well, he told me actually he was having trouble with this thing is because I don't have the lower part for 532. I guess I've got the male side for 532, but the female side's a little bit sloppy, so he's having trouble with that. So I think I'm just gonna drill them all. I think it'll actually be faster, so I'm just gonna drill them all with 532 and then clean them all up with that deburring tool I've probably showed you guys in the past. It is really, really cool because they're fast to use. I just threw something on the ground. One of these. Oh. So one of these. They are basically like just a countersink, but on a little swivel. This is like one of those deburring tools. So you can stick it in the hole, give it a couple turns, and then move on. It's kind of nice and fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I was getting ahead of myself. I don't really need to be putting these together. I just wanted to try and make sure that the rivets were good, which they are. Jordan, when Jordan was here from Bennett's Customs, I gave him a whole whack of Clecos, thinking like I had a bunch of stacks of Clecos like in every size. I gave him all my 532s, didn't realize that I ddidn't have 532s. So I think I found like 5 of them. So it's fine. I gotta get some more. But I just thought it was funny. I thought I had like 100 of these, so that it was no problem to put this seat together. Anyway, yeah, gonna go ahead and drill all the holes, bend up that back piece, and then once we're able to kind of Cleco the sides to the back, I think it'll have more strength. It'll be a lot easier to rivet it, and yeah, that's that. All right, where are we at? So, I've got this thing all bent up. We've drilled a bunch of holes in it. I broke a drill bit and totally gouged the crap out of it right there. Not proud of that. The flanges here, because it's thicker material, there wasn't enough material removed in the corners when it was cut, so it's not quite at the angle it needs to be. I'm gonna have to just do a little slice in these corners just to get the angle a little bit tighter. But that's where that's at. The dimple dies are looking good. This is looking good. Everything's looking good. So what's next for me is I have a little bit more drilling to do in the brass here. This brass is actually like kind of tough to drill. I know you're supposed to have a different pitch on your drill bit for brass that makes it easier, but because the drill bits are so tiny. Anyway, struggled with that a little bit. I'm definitely gonna get a new one of those punches so that I have that size. Yeah, so just before riveting, we'll talk again about riveting and we'll kind of go over that. Let's get back to work. All right, now we're looking like something. Check this out. We are all tacked together. If I had more clecos, I wouldn't have gone and riveted that. But anyway, she's all riveted up. We've got just kind of a few in here and there just to hold it together. Now we're going to talk about riveting and show you guys how this is going together. Shout out to Brent for this. He's one of our students at the metal shaping class at Sosa Metalworks, and he brought me this little cleco tray. I think it's awesome. He makes them. Anyway, we've got 532 rivets, aluminum. They're a little bit hard to put in there, but you can kind of put the bucking bar on just offset and drive them in if you have to, if they're not quite going in by hand, but I'm drilling each one as I go. Now, like I was saying before, the most important thing is, you know what, I'm gonna switch cameras so that I can do this. Okay, the most important thing is to watch where this tool is lined up. You know, if you're off a little bit, it's just gonna bite in. I'm gonna show you where I made a mistake. Right here. The other thing is that you wanna make sure that you are off the gun before you pull it away. Like if you're just kind of rushing, you could mess this up, which is what I did here. I was using the gun and I pulled it off before I shut the trigger of the gun off. So it actually bit the top of the rivet a little bit. I'm gonna leave it in there as a reminder not to do that. I'm not gonna change the rivet. You can change it if you want, but I'm not perfect, so you know, we move on. The bucking bar itself, you want it to be relatively square to your piece. Like if it's kind of going off, it's not gonna work, right? So you don't wanna have it at an angle. You kind of wanna make sure that you've got it supported flat, you know, directly perpendicular to the air gun. This is just a normal air hammer. This is not anything special. This is the one that you buy for 30 bucks. It's not crazy. It does have a little bit of an adjustment at the bottom. Like it's fine as long as you adjust it so that you can hammer on the trigger and be consistent. So right now I've got it adjusted so I can kind of just go bah, you know, for however long, and I know it's enough. So that way I can just kind of set up the bucking bar, look at it, make sure that my hand is holding it firmly, and then I will watch the air hammer side to make sure that I'm not digging it in. So I'm gonna do a couple here. I'll show you shots, hopefully kind of close up so you can see what's happening on this side, what's happening on this side. And then we're gonna go to the wonderful time-lapse land and just do all these painful rivets. Is it this one? Which one was it? Okay, so I'm just kind of holding the bucking bar a little offset, just so that I can get that rivet driven in. And then I'm watching, make sure my bucking bar is nice and straight, and I can add pressure this way. I've kind of got these knuckles touching so that I know that, you know, this is parallel. And then I'm going to just add pressure. And that's that. So I was watching to make sure that I wasn't gonna bite here. I was adding pressure this way to oppose this force. That way this isn't gonna get bent. Like sometimes you'll see some of them will dimple in a little bit, and that just means that you weren't pressing on the backside, like holding the bucking bar with opposite and equal force to the rivet gun. So that is how you do one of those. Let's check it out from the backside. So I will throw one in right here. Push the rivet in. Kind of went a little bit too hard on that, but anyway, holding the bucking bar nice and straight, adding pressure. Actually, you're not going to be able to see what's happening. Let's change the camera angle. This one right here. So you see that just mushrooms a little bit. This is kind of an overkill size rivet. You know, another thing, I didn't actually have, or I can't find my 1/8 one of these, so we could have used the smaller rivets. But anyway, that's how it goes. These rivets are, you know, long enough to do both this. They might be a little bit too long for this, you know, if you wanted to get technical, and just perfect length for doing the 3 up here. They're kind of the perfect length for that as well. So that's it. Riveting is like not that hard, guys. It's just kind of like being careful, taking your time. It's time consuming, you know, it's one at a time kind of thing. You have to be patient, and the result is just, you know, beautiful. I love rivets. I think they look really cool. So that's that. I'm gonna keep going. We are going to get this seat all done. bomber seat. I like the little inserts. I like how you could do kind of anything there. You could have copper, you could use aluminum, you can anodize. There was all kinds of comments on the last one talking about different contrasts that we could get with this type of a design, and I think it's really cool. So I am going to make these available somehow. Like I'm gonna put drawings up for you guys. It's not gonna be right away. I'm really busy right now, but I'm gonna get it happening for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this episode on the bomber seat. Hopefully you learned a little bit about riveting. Like, you don't need crazy stuff to do it. You can get a relatively inexpensive kit from all over the place. I think I just got mine off of Amazon, to be honest. Just the air hammer riveting kit with the bucking bar. So yeah, I encourage you guys to give it a try. Make yourself a cool little seat. You know, it's a lot cheaper to make them than it is to buy them, so might as well learn something. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. If you want to be part of the custom crew, $5 a month will get you that. Get a little badge by your name, you get 15% off at the merch store. It's all good things, so thanks a lot, and don't forget to check out Sosa Metalworks YouTube channel as well. Give them a like, subscribe, hit the notifications button. I know some really wicked content is going to be coming out of there very soon. I'm pretty excited about it, so definitely check it out. All right, guys, have a good one. Catch you on the next one.